there, myth chasers. It's time once again to test out more of your insane myths and questions in the ever-changing world of Fortnite Battle Royale. This week, it's all about those rifts which were left behind by the space pod. But in general, if you have any myths you'd like us to waste our lives trying, please put them in the comments below and upvote your favourites, and you could be featured next time. Please think about using code ADAMARU in the store, and liking this video will help me so much. Anyway, I will stop begging now. Let's do this. Our first myth comes from FISHYBOX, who says, myth, can sharks go through rifts? A nice easy one to start with, thank you very much. Off we trekked to the crash site and sent that rocket flying once again. Next, I grabbed a shark and attempted to pass through the rift. I wasn't completely sure if I was timing this correctly, but as you can see in the replay file, the shark passes through the butterfly rift, and yeah, so sadly, a shark, right now at least, cannot use a rift. Hang on, let me try this again using myself as bait. Wish me luck. Nope, mission failed. We'll get them next time. Sharks cannot use rifts, but let's take this to the next level. Internal IKONIC asks, what happens when you use a rift whilst riding a shark? So essentially the myth is the same, but instead of the shark hitting the rift, the player does instead. Will the fishing line hold and let us parasail like we can at Steamy Stacks? Let's try this. Okay, so sadly this is another busted myth. We can use the rift, but the fishing line cuts on impact and the shark simply swims away. It looks pretty cool though, but yes, myth busted. Our next myth about those lovely rifts is from Oliver Benham, who asks, myth, what happens when a boat goes through a rift? I mean, come on, there's no chance a vehicle will work on a rift, is there? Well, Oliver, for you, we will try it. A few of my Discord members and I jumped into a boat, which is pink for added masculinity, of course, and went straight towards the rift. What do you think happened next? It worked! Boats can indeed travel through rifts. This is epic news. What needs the most attention here is the fact that all my teammates made it through the rift too. We stayed in our positions on the boat. Everyone. I attempted to maneuver the boat in the air using the boosters, but that part of travel seems ineffective at this height at least. It's a shame, but hey, this is a great myth which has been successfully chased. Good times. So let's evolve this myth. We picked up a chopper, thinking this will be the same as all vehicles, won't it? Well, see this one for yourself. This is an epic fail. The chopper cannot access the rift. Bad times, bro. So when cars come out, do you think they'll be able to go into the rifts? I hope so, because I want to get 10 of us to drive straight through the same rift and watch the carnage. Carnage. Didn't made a pun without even trying. Anyway, chopper rift. No. Boat rift. Yes. Let's move on. Okay, let's bring in those marauders and take these rift myths to the next level. PAULGAMERPRO asks, what happens when a marauder goes into a rift? Now this is a massive myth. Good shout, Paolo. We jumped into Fortnite in a custom game which lets us hunt down marauders without having to fight other teams. The real challenge with rift myths is that the storm circle is almost always too far away to get marauders in the right place in time. Luckily, we spotted a bunch of Save the World characters by the farm and we slowly and painfully forced them to chase the myth chasers over to the spaceship wreck. The next issue, apart from being eliminated of course, was finding a way to get them down the mountain face. After much hassle, a staircase worked a treat, and as the storm began to approach, we managed to get them close enough to try this myth. Inch by inch, Kyle followed us, and then this happened. He walked into the rift and not only did it work, but he pulled his chute on the way down and landed safely to continue to try to end us all. We tried this a few more times with the same results, and a thing to note is that the rifts aren't permanently here, so even if it looks like there's a rift there, if it's been used once, it's not there anymore. But yeah, myth successfully chased. For our next test, we attempted to throw a knocked marauder into a rift, and like usual, the actual difficult part was finding marauders and slowly leading them to the spaceport. When we finally got them there, a few terrible throws later, and we can say for certain, nope, knocked marauders cannot be thrown into rifts. But this idea gave me an idea. What happens when we carry a knocked Marauder into a rift? Will we drop them on the ground, or could we keep them on our shoulders and take them for a ride? Well, let's try this. I knocked a Marauder and beelined for the rift. There was a few issues, like the rift not being there, but eventually I found a functioning rift and... hell yeah, it worked! We can knock a Marauder and carry them in the air. How cool does this look? To give this some use in-game, we tested this on our own teammates and other teams, and in both circumstances, the myth remains true. We can indeed carry knocked players or NPCs through rifts. So, in theory, this could be a very useful way to loot a player when on the run. Pick them up and take them with you. I feel like we've learned a great deal today. GG all. Next myth, please. Bearus Cousin says, myth, what happens when you throw a decoy at a rift? I like it, Bearus. Let's try it. For this one, the steps are pretty easy, but finding decoys can take far too long when the storm is approaching. But we did it. First, here's a decoy grenade being thrown into a rift. Oh, okay, well that was rubbish. The grenade itself does not activate the rift, and the decoy that lands tends to run around like a headless chicken. It's like me in a real game of Fortnite. So let's adapt this myth a little. First, I built a box around the rift and threw a decoy nearby. And finally, this happened. Holy hut watches, Batman, it works. Decoys can indeed use rifts. I was trying to think of a way to use this in-game, and the best I can think of is throwing a decoy into a rift to force your enemies to shoot up into the air, and whilst they're doing that, you can line up a snipe and take out your enemies with no pressure at all. This could be an epic gamer moment. Next myth. Can a shark destroy the spaceship? This is too ridiculous not to try. I had to do this. And if you follow me on Twitter, you've already seen what the heck happens here. So here's the setup. I simply found a shark, took it over to the crash site, and used my body as bait, stood on top of it, to see if the shark could destroy this invulnerable piece of metal. Check it out. Well, I tried this with a single shark, I tried this with multiple sharks, and I tried it with sharks glowing different colours too, and after being struck 20 times, the spacecraft is indeed invulnerable. But then something unexpected happened. Check this. A shark became stuck in the spaceship and stayed there until the end of the game, which gave me the greatest idea in the history of Fortnite. Can we send a shark into outer space? I bet you weren't expecting that when you clicked on this video. I was able to get another shark to land in place, who was kind enough to let me begin the launch procedure. And this is what happened. Gutted. As soon as the spaceship began to take off, the shark fell through the vessel and calmly went back into the blue. He wasn't even fazed by watching intergalactic space travel. That guy's super chill. But to confirm, no, we can't send a shark to space in Fortnite. Maybe I should make this the thumbnail for the video. It would confuse everyone. Totally worth it. Oh, random myth alert. We were trying to find a way to die to a shark, and I wondered what happened when a shark hits a crash mat. Well, here it is. He has the time of his life. And we all know if you make the shark happy, it won't attack you. It will attack you. It's a shark. Don't trust sharks. So there we have it, a bunch of myths about rifts. Fortnite is at its best when new content drops like this, and we can try and find ways to break it and use it in games. Imagine the shenanigans we can have with functioning cars, it's gonna be epic. Just as an FYI, when using the replay files, you may have noticed some weird things happening, like floating astronauts or the rifts being available even when the ship is there too. This is simply an issue with scrubbing around in replays, giving us the most memorable, memeable images in Fortnite history. On screen now are the legends who use code ADAMARU. Thank you so much for supporting me this season. I am truly blessed by Hutwatch and Graham. I'm Adam from PlayStation Grenade. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll see you next time.